in skateboarding, they smell out kooks right off the bat, you know? And you're not in it for the real reason, they'll let you know real quick. I first started helping Keith Hufnagel out. It was just a small little store he opened around the corner from my house. And I met him through skateboarding, and then I designed his original logo. And then all the original clothing before they opened wholesale. And then Nike SB really got into skateboarding at that time, and Keith helped him with legitimacy through his shop and helping him with the team, that they were starting giving the store a whole bunch of Nike shoes. So me and him basically did almost all the design there with the staff. My favorite is the Nike Hufquake stuff, because it was my first release where I noticed like fandom and people going crazy and sleeping outside for it. I'd never ever experienced that until that moment. With the earthquake pattern stuff, that was all based on the San Francisco earthquake. So we cracked the leathers, we made smoke damage stuff. And so that's definitely my number one. My second one is all the early Ipath stuff, just because it was such a vibe in the city at that moment. Because I grew up with really hippie parents. I'm talking like beads on the doors and stash box of weed on the table and raised vegetarian. So when Ipath came into skateboarding, it made everything that I grew up being a part of that I was embarrassed about all of a sudden cool, you know? My third one is the Nike SB 510 Dunk I did for the skate shop here in Berkeley. And I just launched this pattern called the Fog Camo based on the San Francisco's fog that blankets the city. We designed a beautiful, dunk high together, and all the way up to simple projects with the hundreds when we did a little skate shoe. We based it on the Golden Gate Bridge, and it had ostrich skin mimicking the rivets and the color of the bridge. So everything has a story that I'm trying to tell. And I'm a firm believer, like everyone always tells me, be careful of who you align with, be careful of the projects you take on. You don't want to tarnish your name or your reputation, and I don't believe in any of that bullshit. If your brand image is weak enough to be pulled down by another brand, then that means that your own brand wasn't strong enough at the beginning. Like I've done sandals with Teva, all the way to Nike SBs, and when I did the sandal, everyone's like, a sandal, that's whack. People are gonna think you're so lame now. And I was like, I don't care what they think, it's gonna be the best sandal you've ever seen. Like if you do a bad job and your name's attached to whatever project it is, it's not, it's not a good look. I think stuff gets overshadowed, like when I had, with my own brand being a smaller independent brand, streetwear brand, I got overshadowed by the big guys, and no matter what, it's so hard to compete and make noise in those areas if you don't have big marketing budgets, you don't have every famous rapper wearing this stuff, but that doesn't mean that the product you're making is not just as good as every other brand with the big budgets, And I think that's what happens with companies like Gravis and all those other ones, is that they get outshined by the giants in the industry. It's like that saying, everyone loves you when you're dead. And I think Gravis is in one of those things. Same with Vita and all those other smaller brands that were really cool. They all did it with passion, and they all did it with their heart, like they really cared about what they're doing and had something to say. I talked to Thibaut about this a lot, and about brands and skateboarding, just because I nerd out with him, and he's such a, has such a beautiful vision on skateboarding and everything. When they stay around so long, it's really hard to get rid of some of that bad baggage they have. Like Blind is a perfect example. Like Blind was the epitome of what a brand should be. And then they had all those Reaper years, and it's really hard to shed those years, I look at brands as lifetimes, like they run its course, they're meant to be born and have a greatness and die also, I'm always gonna be creative and always making stuff, regardless if it's for my brand or for someone else's brand. And everything that I do, I touch, I make sure that it's the best it possibly could be. And I'd rather fail on originality than succeed in imitation, a message to everybody is just to be honest with themselves and put out whatever vision and story that they really are trying to do, and not trying to be anybody else. Just be yourself.